Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how to deal with unsupportive family and friends when you're depressed. So when you're depressed, unsupportive friends and family can prove to be very trying. It's very important to have people in your life who either understand your condition or they're willing to try. If your friends and family are unsupportive and blaming you for the symptoms of your illness or making thoughtless remarks, it can make you feel very discouraged. So what can you do if the people who should be your greatest supporters are not? Let's jump right on in and find out. So number one, acknowledge that there may be a reason behind their feelings that has nothing to do with you at all. So see, there are lots of reasons that a person may not be able to understand a condition like depression. Perhaps they grew up in an environment where they were taught that it was unacceptable to show weakness. And it always boggles my mind when I meet people and they say that's how they were brought up, because I don't understand that. I don't know that feeling. So, or there's a time when mental illness had a greater stigma than it does today. Their behavior towards you may be deeply ingrained and automatic and have nothing to do with you as a person. Number two, be your own greatest supporter. If you don't remember anything else I tell you today, I need you to remember this. If nobody else supports you, be your own greatest supporter. Practice being kind and gentle with yourself. Keep your self-talk positive. Negativity only feeds your depression. Number three, find support elsewhere. When close friends and family can't offer you what you need, it can be helpful to seek out people who can. Depression support groups can be a great place to look. Although people in support groups may start out as strangers to you, fast friendships are often formed because you share the common experience of depression. And you can always talk to a life coach if you need to. Number four, don't buy into their misconceptions. Depression is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It is a biologically based illness, most likely caused by imbalances in important mood regulating chemicals in your brain. You are not attention seeking when you ask for help. You are simply trying the best way you can to hang on until you can get well. No matter what someone else says to you, don't let yourself lose sight of the facts. Too many times we worry about what other people say and think about what is going on with us. If I tell you I'm depressed, don't sit and tell me I'm not. And vice versa, I won't tell you that you're not, because I don't feel what you feel. I don't know what you're going through on a daily basis other than what you tell me. So do not buy into that when people go, "Oh, girl, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're fine." Don't listen to that. If you need help, go get the help. And don't think that just because you're asking for help that you're weak. Number five, accept that some people may be sympathetic to your situation, but are simply unable to actively support you. That is huge. That is so huge. There are so many people that support, they're sympathetic to your situation, but they just don't know how to support you. And everybody doesn't. A prime example of this situation would be a friend who is dealing with his or her own issues and simply aren't able to give anything to other people. It's not that he or she doesn't care about you. They just don't have the internal resources at this time to do more than take care of themselves. So if you have friends that are going through something, you can't expect them to support you in what you're going through, because they're trying to figure out their own stuff. So just understand that they love you. They understand. They just really don't have it in them mentally or physically to support you at that moment. Number six, don't be afraid to ask for what you really need. I am a firm believer in asking for what you need. There may be some cases where people are perfectly willing to support and assist you if only they realize what you need. Perhaps they don't realize how badly you're doing because they're accustomed to you being the strong person. Or it just never occurred to them that you might appreciate it if they offered to babysit your kids for a few hours. It would be great if people could read our minds, but the fact is they can't. Sometimes we have to speak up. No, not sometimes, all the times you have to speak up. That made me think about Phyllis Hyman and how she committed suicide. And I remember Patti LaBelle, some other people, they were so, Shaka Khan I think was another one too, but they were all saying how they were just so surprised. Some of them had just been with her like the week before, a couple of weeks before, and they had no idea this woman was suffering with depression. No idea whatsoever. So you've got to open your mouth. If I'm not feeling well, I can't expect for you to know that I have a headache or my body hurts or whatever the case may be. I can't expect you to know that because you don't. You don't feel what I feel. So you've got to learn to open your mouth. You cannot get help if you don't open your mouth. What's that old saying? Closed mouth doesn't get fed. You need to open your mouth and tell people what you're going through. Number 7, cut negative people out of your life or find ways to mitigate the damage. There are going to be some people who, no matter what you do, no matter what you do, will be mean-spirited and hurtful. And I think it's just their plight in life to be that way. If you can cut them out of your life, if you can, cut them out of your life. But if you can't, you need to find other ways to limit your contact with them or guard yourself against their insensitive treatment. Now, you may need to sit down and have a come to Jesus meeting with Aunt Peggy and let her know you don't appreciate her comments and they need to stop immediately. And it's okay to do that. Because guess what? I can read you upside one wall and down another and not have to cuss at all. Chances are I probably will. But that's a whole other story. But what I'm saying is we have to get to a place where we're not afraid to open our mouths and tell people what we need them to stop doing, because what they're doing is not helping us. It's making things worse. And that goes along with family members. You love your family members. Well, some of them you do. But most part, you love your family members, but you can't allow them to talk to you and treat you any kind of way. Number 8, use anger with the other person to your benefit. Now, when I saw this, I thought, So instead of turning your anger at the other person inward and beating yourself up for your failings, channel that anger into doing something positive. Go out and get some exercise or give your house a thorough cleaning. You'll have an outlet for your anger and do something good for yourself at the same time. There was a time... Oh, I'm sorry, that was the last one too. There was a time when things got stressful at work, or you got that one coworker that would just get on your last good nerve. It always felt good to go downstairs to the gym, because by the time I went downstairs, worked out, took that step aerobics class, spinning class, or whatever, showered and came back, I was like a whole different person. I can now pull up with your BS, but prior to going, because I was on the verge of snatching you up by the collar. And I don't want to go to jail, plus I need my job. So sometimes getting out, doing other things, channeling that energy someplace else is so much better than losing your cool. So let me do a quick recap, and I promise I will let you be. So today we talked about how to deal with unsupportive friends and family when you're depressed. And you guys, depression is real. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It really is not. But I need you to go and get the help that you need if you are suffering with depression. So I talked about tip number 1, acknowledge that there may be a reason behind their feelings that has nothing to do with you. Sometimes people treat us in a very, I was getting ready to say something, in a very bad way. And they're mean-spirited towards people, and it has nothing to do with those individuals, but it has everything to do with the person that's being mean and spiteful, because they have some stuff in here that they need to work out. Sometimes those people will treat you bad because you're doing good, and they're jealous because you're doing good and they're not. Or they're jealous because you've gotten to the level that you aspired to get to, and they haven't, and all because they refuse to step out there and make things happen for themselves. So always remember, a lot of times it has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with them. Number 2, be your own greatest supporter. Sometimes you have to be your biggest supporter. Sometimes you have to be the one that pats yourself on the back. Congratulate yourself, because there's nobody else to do it for you. Be your own biggest supporter. Stop sitting around being depressed and down and in a funky mood because nobody celebrated you. So what? Get up and celebrate yourself. Celebrate you. You celebrate you. Okay? Number 3, find support elsewhere. If you can't get support from your family, your closest friends, sometimes your children or your spouse, go get that support somewhere else. Join a support group. Okay? Reach out to a life coach. I'm always willing to work with you. But find that support somewhere else, because the one thing I don't want you to do is sit around with stuff bottled up inside, and all because you don't have an outlet to vent. There's always other people outside of your family. Number 4, don't buy into their misconceptions. Your misconceptions of me are none of my business. Did you hear what I said? Your misconceptions of me are none of my business. That's not for me to worry about. I don't buy into that. You can have all the misconceptions you want, but I'm not going to buy into it. So it's not a weakness depression is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It's a biologically based illness. So don't let people say, "Oh, it's all in your mind. It ain't wrong with you. You all right." No, don't do not buy into that. Let me move on because that kind of upset me a little bit. But let me move on. Number 5, accept that some people may be sympathetic to your situation, but they're just simply unable to actively support you. So that's where communication comes in. That's where you have to talk to those people and say, "Hey, what's going on? You know, I'm always there for you, but now I need you to be there for me." And I feel like there's a disconnect. You know, it's like this is what's going on, but I need you to be here. Have a talk with that person. And if they're honest, they're going to say to you, "You know what, Michelle, you know, Barry, whatever your name may be, I really would love to be there to support you, but right now I'm going through some stuff." So if they're going through some stuff, they can't be there to support you. Just like if I'm going through some stuff, I really can't be there to support you. I want to, but I just can't because I'm dealing with my own stuff. Number 6, don't be afraid to ask for what you really need. And I'm a huge component of asking for what I need. Okay, and we talked about there will be some cases where people are perfectly willing to support and assist you if they only realized you needed the help. If you need help, open your mouth. Stop sitting around looking out the window watching life go past. I was only looking up here because I have a window right here, but don't sit there looking out the window watching life pass you by while everybody else is enjoying life. Open your mouth and ask for what you need. Number 7, because you know we always have been taught that depression is a bad thing. It's taboo. You have to be strong. You know, you don't let anybody know that you're going through depression. You keep that in here. Don't tell nobody about that, all right? And so growing up, a lot of people didn't get the help they needed because their families encouraged them to keep it bottled up. No, it's all right to let it out. Number 7, cut negative people out of your life and find ways to mitigate the damage. If you have negative people in your life, you've got to get rid of those people. You guys know I always talk about keeping your inner circle clean and keeping it small. Your inner circle are those people closest to you. My inner circle is very small. I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me, but my inner circle is very small, and I keep it that way for a reason. And definitely, if you're a negative person, you can't come within arms. Let me hold my hand this way. You can't come within arm's reach of me because I don't have time for that. I don't care what's going on in my life or yours. I don't need the negativity. Save it for somebody else. Okay? But you've got to learn how to cut out the negative people and then find ways to mitigate the damage. If somebody got your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother got on your last good nerve and you don't want to have to go to hell and repent for cussing them out, I would suggest you put on your gym clothes, go into the gym. Go outside, cut the grass, go outside, wash the car, go to the car wash. But you've got to learn how to mitigate all of that negative energy. And number 8, last but not least, use your anger with the other person to your benefit. And we talked about how instead of turning your anger at the other person, inward and beating yourself up over your feelings, channel that anger into doing something positive. Okay? Go out and do something positive. Make somebody's day. You know, go through a drive-through and pay for the person's meal behind you. I promise you it'll take your mind off whatever it is that's bothering you. So that's all I have, you guys. I truly, it is my hope and my pleasure to come each week and give you a coaching video to talk about topics that really can be helpful, just because I don't know what everybody's going through. I truly don't. Am I depressed? No. Do I have friends and family that are closest to me that aren't supportive? No. So I don't know what that looks like, but I do understand that everybody doesn't have that. And so I try to pick topics that I think will benefit people. And hopefully something that I said will resonate with you. And if it doesn't resonate with you, share this video with somebody else because maybe it'll help them. So that's all I have, you guys. I want to say thank you so much to my new subscribers. Thank you so much to those of you that continue to support me in all that I do. And you guys always know, if there's a topic that you want me to talk about, send me an email. Send it to michelleismakingithappen@gmail.com. I will leave that information in the description box. That's Michelle with 2 L's and not 1, please. But yes, send me your topics and I will do my best to talk about it. within reason. I always have to say within reason because you just never know what people are going to come up with. But I want to say thank you, before I forget really quickly, I want to say thank you so much to those of you that have given me topics to talk about. And, you know, you asked me to keep it anonymous, so I don't share who I got it from. But I just want to say thank you so much for those of you that have given me topics and asked me to talk about them. My goal as a life coach is to help you in the best way that I can. That is my absolute goal, okay? So, that's all I have, you guys. I look forward to talking to you again next week. And don't forget, y'all, get them negative people out of your life. Cut them out. And if they're family and you can't cut them out because they are family, they don't belong in the inner circle, you can keep them out here, but they do not belong in the inner circle. Until next time, take care.